Hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine. I'm here from the Birdie product marketing team. And yeah, super excited to have put together this How Birdie Helps with CQC webinar for you. Um, if we can go on to the next slide, you won't be hearing from me most of this session. You'll actually be hearing from these amazing speakers. So over from the Birdie team, we've got Jamie and Tom, who will be going through Birdie platform, some demos, and then over from Britannia Home Care, we've got Stephen Rigby, operations manager, and Lauren Stockwell, care manager. So just a quick overview of today's agenda. I'll give a intro into Birdie and our smart technology platform. And then we'll actually go into the platform. So key areas to highlight are the Care app, rostering, care management, and analytics. And within each of these areas, we'll share an overview, a demo, a short demo, and also hear from just real life experience from Britannia and how they've interacted with Birdie in each of those key features. And then I'll wrap it up with some key takeaways, and hopefully at the end we'll have a quick 5-minute Q&A session. So please do drop in your questions in the chat as they come up throughout the session. A few housekeeping items. As I mentioned before, we will be recording today's webinar session. I also mentioned please add your questions onto the Q&A, and then we will be sharing a follow-up, including a full recording of the session. So if we go into Birdie, if you haven't heard of us before, we are the smart home care technology provider for over 1,000 agencies. Birdie provides data-powered technology that gives you the power of insight and automation, so that's easy to make smart decisions and to act on them. We help you to be proactive rather than reactive in compliance operations and finance to ensure that you don't get any nasty surprises. So, for example, you'll not just fix medication problems, but you'll spot them instantly, and you'll know where you stand with the CQC before the CQC does. So, if you go into the next slide, you've heard me mention smart technology, and we're really seeing this shift over to smart. So there's kind of two sides. There's first generation care technology and smart technology. First generation takes traditional care management off paper and puts it into a screen, whereas smart technology automates those repetitive processes and actually takes stress off of your team. First generation tech brings large amount of raw data into a digital space, while smart technology turns that raw data into insights and actions. And then you can see here, first generation makes it possible to store, download, and update and share info, whereas smart tech provides a one reliable source of truth for the entire operation and minimizes risk. So if you go into how Birdie helps with CQC and what it means for your day-to-day preparation, looking back, traditional care management has been reactive. You collect evidence after the fact, you're scrambling to prepare for inspections, you hope that you've captured everything. But Birdie Smart Technology really flips that process on its head. So imagine a system that allows you to automatically capture evidence in real time, simplifies the entire auditing process, provides continuous insights into your care quality, allows you to showcase your achievements across all 5 of the CQC areas, and then last but not least, provides comprehensive support throughout the whole platform. So this is moving from a compliance checklist to a more proactive quality improvement strategy. The auditing process transforms from a stressful, time-consuming ordeal to a smooth, almost instantaneous review. So how can you practically use smart technology in your role? I'm sure there's variation of roles in the audience today, so we're going to talk through how you can make the most of smart technology in your position and in relation to the CQC standards for inspection. So with that, I will pass it over to Jamie from our customer success team.
Great. Thank you, Jasmine. As Jasmine mentioned, I'm Jamie. I work with a lot of Birdie partners to make sure they get the most value that they can out of Birdie. And often this includes preparing for CQC inspections and making sure that we are watertight from an audit perspective. So what we'll go through over the next couple of minutes is just a quick overview of how smart care apps can make CQC preparation easier. And we'll do this through the 5 Chloes that the CQC look at, and we'll understand where this technology can support. So if we start with the front line of care, which is your care teams, they're the heart of your service. And what's really important from a Birdie perspective is that technology isn't about replacing them. It's actually about empowering them to deliver better care. So what we like to imagine is a digital companion that makes every aspect of care delivery more intuitive, more supportive, and ultimately more human. So safe care, for example, traditionally, without technology, this means lots and lots of paperwork and constant worry. But actually having a technology partner and more specifically a smart technology partner to aid you here transforms safety into something that's a bit more dynamic and proactive. So what we want to give you is instant feedback from care visits, trackable communications between your office team and your care team that are on the ground, and photographic evidence as well, alongside real-time alerts. But the crucial point on some of this is that this isn't about surveillance, it's about support and being able to log observations, raise concerns, or document critical moments in care means that they're going to be spending less time on admin and more time doing what matters, which is providing compassionate and personalized care. Effective care, we want to move that away from just ticking boxes. It's about giving carers tools to be present with their clients. So being able to understand before the visit what the tasks are that need to be done there, and having those care plans be personalized to each client is going to help streamline some processes for you and give your carers more time for meaningful interactions with their clients. With technology, the caring dimension here becomes enhanced. So you'll have a detailed observation recordings, seamless handovers, and a better ability to maintain continuity of care easier. So these aren't just admin functions anymore. They're actually expressions of genuine compassion made more powerful through smart technology. Responsive care and how Birdie supports here. Things like real-time concern raising and immediate support access allows you to respond much more quickly to incidents or changes in care packages than before. And finally, last but not least, well-led care. What technology should enable is management of team communication more effectively and being able to prevent missed visits much more effectively. So it's not just about efficiency. Really, ultimately, this is about dignity and having respect for both the care professionals that are on the ground and the individuals receiving that care. So with that, I will hand over to Tom, and he's going to be able to demo some aspects of the Birdie Carer app for you guys today.
Hey guys, nice to meet you all. I'm Tom. So let me just open up the Birdie app. Cool. So the Birdie app works both with iPhone and Android. It's designed native, so it's the same experience. It's the same journey for your carers as well. Now, the app has been designed with a lot of encryption, a lot of safety to make it really safe, but also it helps by allowing you guys, your carers, they don't need special devices. They can just use their own mobile, their own smartphone. So once you've logged in, you noticed I just typed in a passcode there. Now it opens up the Birdie app itself. So what we can see here, I'll give you a general overview and then we can dive into some of the visit and what that looks like. So along the top, first of all, you can see a little profile icon in the top left-hand corner. That's where my timesheet would be, or all the carers' information. Now here we can see the current date and we can see the week ahead. These little dots underneath the days just shows us that I've got visits on those days. So what we can also see is a nice little banner here, this pink banner, notifying me about a garden party. But it's just a way that you can highlight things to your carers. Now what I'm going to do is just below you can see the visits that I've got today. So excuse me then, I can click into Julio. Now, the first thing we see about Julio, and a very important part of delivering care, is the continuity. This allows the carer to see all of the previous visits, so they know if there is an ongoing situation, but it helps, like I said, join up that continuity of care. Now, we can see this visit is already in progress. I've already checked in as my Blue Peter moment, so we can continue with this visit. Now, something I didn't show you just a second ago, on the top right-hand corner of Julio's page, we can see the care plan. So this is where the carer can access the care plan and they can see all of that essential information. Now, let me just double check. Guys, can you see my screen? Can you see the Birdie app all right?
Some people are saying they see a partner spotlight slide on the screen. Anyone else having that issue?
Yeah, I don't think we can see the app.
Oh,
Oh, I wonder if I can see it. Interesting. Let's see. Let's see. A few more people can't see it. Let's try switching again. Apologies, guys. Technical difficulties.
how about that? Can you guys see that?
Hmm. Some
If
people.
I stop and then I'll just restart once we're ready.
Oh, I see. Some people are saying, yes, to all the attendees, you can actually see two screens on the top. So just make sure you're clicking Tom Austin's screen versus the webinar. So there we go. Yes, please continue, Tom.
Okay, so sorry about that, guys. Classic Zoom malfunction there. But okay, so this is that screen, and I can see the visits here below. Now we can log in. So I've already checked into this visit. This was that continuity element I was telling you about. You can see the care plan for the client in the top right-hand corner. We can click that, and it only shows us the very latest one as well. Now, I'm going to continue with the visit I already checked in earlier, my Blue Peter moment. So on this screen, this is the visit. Now, first is check-in, then is tasks and medications. So here we can see all of the tasks and medications. Now, the CQC don't like the word tasks, so we've called them activities to kind of separate the tasks and the med tasks there. But we can quickly click through one here. So this is a fluoxetine 30 milligram capsule. It shows us those directions. Again, making sure that the care is super safe there. Now, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for the care side of things. We've also got, this is just where we can record the notes as well there too. Now, I'm going to have to pass over because of the time requirements to the lovely team at Britannia.
Hello. Yeah, we're on.
Yep.
I'm Steve. This is Lauren. We're both from Britannia Home Care. We've been working in East Surrey for the last 22 years, and we are the single biggest provider in East Surrey. Since switching over to Birdie in August 2022, we have noticed some massive changes. One of the biggest changes we've noticed is that the staff have been considerably upskilled and are using their initiative a lot more. So what we've seen is when they're going into visits now, if there's a problem, they can then raise a concern, and then we can deal with that concern in live time. So, for instance, if somebody needed a district nurse, we would be alerted to that immediately, and we would be able to call that district nurse and get them out straight away. Raising these alerts has really reduced the call volume. The carers are calling the office a hell of a lot less, which is making us a lot more responsive. The access to information is allowing carers to read up about clients before they're going into service users. And so they're ringing the office a hell of a lot less. The record notes that they're completing are clear, So they're able to read the notes from the previous carer. So the previous carer might say that they put the washing machine on. So then the next carer that comes in, they can read that note, and then they will be able to get the washing out, hang it up, and it's really streamlining the way that we work. The evidence gathering has got a hell of a lot better, and we're also able to message via the app. So before we would use text messages, but now we can actually message carers directly, and we can see if the carers are reading that message to make sure that they got that message. So that's everything that I've got to say on the care app, but it has been fantastic since we moved over.
Nice. That's great. Thank you, Stephen. I'm sharing my screen again now. Can everyone see that? And if not, there should be an option to see mine at the top of the Zoom webinar. But what we will go through next is we're going to spend some time looking at how a smart rostering system CQC standards. So we'll go through the same sort of format here through the five Chloes. And the way we see things, right, the coordinators in any care agency hold a really, really key responsibility that is rostering. But we see rostering not just as scheduling, it's more about the orchestration of care delivery. And what we want to do is help enable technology to transform it from just a logistical challenge that needs doing into something more instrumental to your care quality. So we talk about safe rostering. Traditional rostering, we tend to see as really quite risky in terms of our visits allocated correctly. Are there any scheduling conflicts? Is actually the route between visits planned effectively? That's really, really difficult to do without any sort of technology. But with a system like Birdie, what we can do is detect schedule conflicts in real time and provide instant alerts for those, as well as any unallocated visits, and actually give you things like travel time estimates so that you can see if people have got enough time between visits or if there's too much time, can we slot in other calls to try and make things as efficient as possible. Visit suggestions, drag and drop, and algorithms that will help you optimize your schedule. Ultimately, what we want to do is help reduce the admin burden on your coordinators. Caring and responsive rostering, what this looks like to us is being able to tailor visits and make sure that the correct carers are going to the correct visits through things like skills or location optimization. And having responsive rostering means that we can integrate, as we said, travel time estimates, reduce late arrivals, and have dynamic scheduling to help empower your teams. And then finally, if we look at well-led, this is where we see rostering really becoming a strategic tool. So this should understand your care team's preferences in terms of hours. It should be able to create efficient and balanced schedules and support staff's work-life balance. So this is not just about scheduling. It's helping you proactively create a responsive, intelligent care ecosystem that puts both your care professionals and your care recipients at the center of that. I'll hand back over to Tom, who's going to be able to give you a quick demo of how Birdie's rostering works.
Hey guys, hopefully the Zoom gremlins will be kind to us for this part. So, okay, can everyone see my screen? Should be able to see a rostering. Yeah, I see some nods. Okay, cool. So, yeah, this is the Birdie rostering platform. Now, I'll cover just like I did with the last session, just an overview. So a bit of the lay of the land. All the unallocated visits are in this row at the very top here. So the coordinator will log in the morning probably, and they'll see this screen and they'll say, right, I've got these visits coming up. I know exactly what I need to do. All of your carers are along the side here. So these are my colleagues, Joe Barlow and Jordan Tart, etc. Now, it will look quite familiar to other rostering screens. Didn't want to reinvent the wheel here, but I'll highlight some of those elements. What we can see here is we can drag and drop visits. So the system's really responsive, allowing you to make those those short-term changes or last-minute changes, as is often quite common in classic dom care providers. Now, what you'll also have noticed is that this travel bar just appeared. So this is the system automatically in real time calculating the travel time from this visit to the Jim Peterson visit. So if I hover over, it just tells me 144 minutes by car. Now, if let's say there was an overlap, the system would highlight that and say, oh, hang on, Tom, I think you're making a mistake here. So the system's quite, like Jamie said, it's quite intelligent and highlights if there's any clashes and things like that. We can also see some color coding here as well. So dark blue means that it's been successfully scheduled. Red, unfortunately, means that that visit has not been started. Don't worry, this is just the demo account. We've also got blue. This is the visit I showed you earlier. It's currently in progress because, as usual, I forgot to sign out when I was showing it to you earlier. But so here, what we can see is a few other elements in relation to the planning. We've got two automated buttons up here. Now, this is where the system will be able to do some of that heavy lifting for you. I'm not going to say I'm going to make your job easy, but we're going to try and make it easier. And so we've got the apply template, exactly what it says on the tin, right? So you have a week in, week out rota. You can essentially copy and paste it, saving your team so much time. But for those services that often have lots of short visits, that a lot of variability, we also have the auto assign unallocated visit section as well. A bit of automation in there as well, but like I said, do some of that heavy lifting for you. Okay, and one last thing I wanted to show you. Jamie was talking about the work-life balance and ensuring that, you've got to have happy carers. So if I hover over Sharjeel, what we can see here, if I just zoom in, is we can also, the coordinator can see the preferred hours. So we can see Sharjeel's minimum and maximum. At the moment, he's got 0 hours. So I think if I've got any spare, I better give them to him to top him up. But it also ensures that we're running a nice, efficient service. Over to the team at Britannia for a little bit more on that section.
Hello. So I'm just going to talk to you about rostering. As the operations manager, most of my day is spent on the roster screen. And since we transitioned from Caris over to Birdie, we have not looked back. It's so much easier to use. It's so much more visual. So as Tom said, at the top of the screen, you have all your unallocated visits. And then we're able to build any unallocated visits into templates, and then we can allocate as many calls as we want in one go. Rather than previously with Caris, we had to allocate calls individually. Also, what also helps is how visual it is. We can see that calls aren't overlapped, and then we don't have carers in two places at one time. The other thing I like about Birdie and the roster system is the clear availability. So previously with Caris, you couldn't get the availability onto the system. So I had spreadsheet upon spreadsheet of different availabilities. Whereas here, all I do is I click on team and I can go into a team member and I can see their clear availability. And then on each day, I can scroll down and I can see what each carer is available for. What I'd also like is the carer recommendations. So they've been there before, and if they haven't been there before, then maybe we'll look for a carer that has been there before. It's really helping us reduce travel time because we're spending less time building rotors. We're having more time to really drill down into where clients are, grouping them together. So it's saving us a lot of time, a lot of money, and we're getting happier staff because the rotors that they're getting are much closer together, less spread out. So it's benefited us massively. Also, previously, it was quite difficult for people that weren't coordinators. If they're on call and they have sickness, it might be difficult for them to allocate work. Whereas Birdie is so simple, all you have to do is drag and drop. It is a hell of a lot easier for people that aren't used to coordinating to coordinate. Also, it's easy to get the client details from the screen, on the roster screen. All you have to do is hover over. You can see exactly where that client is. And yeah, it's made everything so much better for us. And that's what I'm going to say on rostering.
Nice. Thank you so much, Stephen. We'll look now at care management and how, again, very, very similar format. We'll look through the 5 Chloes. We see care managers as the backbone of the care service, right? And smart technology is not just a tool for them to use, but it's a strategic partner that's going to help transform how they manage, monitor, and elevate the quality of the care that your team can deliver. So if we look at safe care, for example, from a management perspective, we're going to look at medication management, as I think that's top of a lot of care managers' priority lists. Smart technology is going to help you create watertight processes and decrease those high-risk admin nightmares. How's it going to do this? Well, it's going to precisely track PRN medication and give you comprehensive medication logs. And it's also going to give you some automatic change management tools and give you real-time visibility into how medication's been administered in those visits. For effective care management, what we like to think about is evidence gathering. So what we have is a tag-based system where you can look at visits or visit notes and be able to tag them based on what's happened there, in line with either third parties who were involved or some of the CQC Chloes that you want to demonstrate. What this is then going to be able to show you is what sort of trends are happening across client visits and give you a really, really comprehensive evidence bank for your audits or for your CQC inspection preparation that's going to give you the ability to quickly analyze and respond to any of these care patterns that you identify. The caring dimension gets a powerful boost through technology, through things like Birdie's family app. So this is not just about communication, but it's about building trust between your clients, you as a care provider, and the care team that are delivering that care. So we'd like to imagine families feeling more connected and informed about the care that their loved ones receive. Responsive management becomes proactive with instant alert filtering. So you can filter your alerts that come through by certain types, whether it's concerns or late visits or false check in and out notifications, and actually generate some reports on those to be able to identify those trends and immediate risks there. So if check-in success is dropping or the amount of concerns being raised is increasing week on week, we give you that information instantly and allow you to react to that as proactively as possible. And finally, well led, we think this takes a new meaning when you start to integrate technology. So we look at skills tracking across your carers and give you some automated qualification management tools, as well as performance review systems and staff recognition programs that are powered by actual data that we get out of Birdie. So this is about transforming management from being reactive and problem solving into something that's more strategic and more data informed, allowing you to lead your carers a little bit better. So, as always, we will hand over to Tom, who will be able to give you some product insights into this.
Hey guys, so bear me a second, let me share my screen. Okay, so a quick overview first of all, guys. So with the care management side of things, we'll have all the clients. You can have information on your team members as well. Now all the alerts come through to the inbox, and we also have a log. The log is like the real time, the window into real time service delivery, so you can see all the visits and things like that. But I'm gonna rattle through this first part because I want to get to the alert center, and I want to show you how you can collect and essentially, like Jamie said, build up that evidence base for when those inspectors do pop in. So what you can see here, this is Julio's care plan, essentially. You can see all the assessments. Now, the assessments are both needs and risk assessments in there as well. We've got some additionals as well, and some auditing documents in there too. We've also got we've got medication MAR chart. So this is essentially what the MAR chart looks like. Now, remember, this is the management portal. So this is what the team leads and the management people will see. It's a bit more simplified for the carers in the field. They just see the tasks. But this allows you to see, across the month. And we can also edit and audit this as well. So here we can see, the carer's phone died. So Tom, the team lead, recorded and updated the administration. Okay, so let's jump into the inbox now. What I've done here is we can see all of the alerts that come through to the central inbox. We can select multiples at the same time as well. But what I'm going to do is just click into one and show you essentially how your evidence your response to them. So this alert comes in. Now, there's a few bits here that I want to point out. First of all, the status. We can change it from action needed to in progress. And of course, the system records all the timestamps. So it's actually demonstrating and evidencing how well your team can respond to incidences and problems in the field. So here we can change the status. We can also change the severity as well. So, we can put it as a high until we find out more information. So once we save that, the color will change as well to in progress. And along the left-hand side, we can see some filters here. So I can look at only the in progress alerts or only the action needed, etc. Now, in the short term, your team will be, managing the risk. This alert's come in. I need to call the carer and understand what's going on. But how do you evidence that where those inspectors can see it? I think gone are the days where we can just trust an inspector to come into your business and see how hard you work. Today, you have to breadcrumb them to where the outstanding is. You have to really spoon feed them. So here we can type something like, investigate and spoken to the carer, for example. So we can post the immediate in the moment comments on how we're managing this. Now, take that one step further. You have to show how proactive you guys are and preventative you guys are. So this is where the actions come in. Actions, it's almost like a project management tool for your management team. If you have things you need to delegate or really important tasks that you absolutely cannot forget, which is in your line of work very common. We can create these tasks here. So you can tag the client or the carer, but a really powerful part of this kind of action creation is this bit here, the tags. We can actually build up a library of evidence for when those inspectors come in. We're able to kind of tag these as well led, tag them as effective, as caring, responsive, and safe. We can even tag third-party social workers as well, and we can even create recurring actions for those that you have to do every single month. And we can also add in a due date there as well. And of course, we can delegate it. We can assign it to myself or to one of my colleagues as well. So that's the Alert Center. Over to Stephen and Lauren for a little bit more on how they use it.
Hello everyone, Lauren Stockwell here, Care Manager for Britannia Home Care. So it's my role to obviously oversee the care delivery of people using our service and focus on the CQC compliance. One of the biggest improvements I've seen is being able to audit on a live basis, going from paper documents where we're sending out MAR charts every month and then having to bring them back in to try and audit them. And then you're picking up on errors that have happened, earlier in the month and trying to investigate it or leading to ineffective practice. We're now doing that on a live basis. So we've set up a duty team where the alerts come in to the inbox, and the team will sort of go through, investigate, provide actions and outcomes for medication, which means we no longer have any gaps in our MAR chart. There's clear timelines for everything that you're putting on, which gives you the accountability factor and also showing how responsive you are and well led. When you're onboarding medication on Birdie, they come up with an NHS list, which is really handy because it's minimising human error. So medication that might look alike or sound alike, it's preventing you from making those mistakes, which I think is really fantastic. We used to have obviously paper care plans, as I've mentioned before, and when someone would have a change of need, a team of our assessors would have to amend the support plan, get it sent back out, get it signed, and bring the old copy back to the home care office. Now we're able to change needs instantly. You can update your task, update your risk assessments and the care support needed, send a message via the app, and you're being so much more responsive to changes. And people are living better, honestly, because of it. Because of the actions we're taking, they're staying at home longer, you're preventing hospital admissions, you're minimising falls, and from a care management perspective, that's exactly what I want, to provide for the people using our service. I like the fact that when you're doing assessments, you get keywords that the team will put in, and that will recommend additional assessments, whether that's for seizures or for water low. So again, it's giving all those prompts to the team to make sure that they're really covering everything when supporting someone. We've had a lot more collaborative working with family who are able to log in and see what the home care workers are doing. And this stigma that you sometimes hear about care has almost been abolished because they're seeing every day what people are doing to support their loved ones. Yeah, as I say, the communication is a lot more effective. You're able to put outcomes for people. I mean, we personally work a lot with SMART goals and being able to use the outcomes to set goals for people. And then once they've achieved them, you've got those timelines, and it's all evidence about the fantastic things you're doing every single day in your normal working practices. As Jamie mentioned as well, I can upload notes and you can tag any key line of inquiry. So you're constantly gathering that evidence just by doing your job.
That's great. Thank you, Lauren. There's some really, really nice stories there about how Birdie's helping people to live better, which is amazing to hear. We'll move on to the last section now, which is our analytics and solutions. So if we look at the final role we're going to talk about, it's business leaders who wear many different hats in a care business, and when it comes to inspection time, they're responsible for analysing a huge volume of data to get ready for that. We see analytics not just about numbers, but it's about transforming raw data into something that's more meaningful and actionable that's going to help you drive exceptional care. So smart technology is going to show you reports that don't just throw loads of numbers up onto a screen. It's actually going to provide some reports that help guide you and help support you to make some strategic decisions. For safe care, analytics becomes a powerful monitoring tool. So you'll have access to comprehensive medication tracking, cross-referencing medication administration, generating PIR data reports, and all of this is going to help you create a clear audit trail to get you inspection ready. I did note in the Q&A there's a question about medication auditing. This is something that our analytics would support you with. So great that we have MAR charts for 1 month at a time or one client at a time. But if you want to look at a broader set of data or across your entire business, this is where we'd point you to. Effective analytics here. That's going to give you visibility into performance metrics instantly. It's going to allow you to identify trends across care delivery or care management, and it's actually going to help you predict potential challenges in the future, all through the comprehensive reporting capabilities that Birdie can deliver. If we look at caring, the caring dimension, this comes out through weekly performance updates and trend analysis, which is going to help you improve the quality of the care that you deliver. And responsive analytics means things like alert analysis, having things come through really, really quickly and allow you to identify things like training needs or qualification updates, perhaps, and let you proactively solve those. So being able to see when things are expiring, let's say, some carer qualifications, can we set up something that allows us to see which ones are due next month and get way ahead of that? All of this is possible through Birdie's analytics. And finally, well-led insights means to us that's being able to track if you've got multiple branches and being able to track branches or track performance at a branch level, but also then break that down into individual levels as well. So being able to see, okay, across the whole business, this is how often our care team do X, Y, or Z, but who are the people who are overperforming that benchmark and who are the people that maybe we need to give additional training to? All of that together is going to put you, right at the forefront of developing a strategic workforce. Final point on this all builds up into something we call the Birdie Q score. So it's not just a report, it's a comprehensive assessment aligned directly with CQC standards. So it's going to show you from scores 1 to 4 how you're doing in multiple areas of your care management and delivery. And it's going to give you clear, actionable dashboards that help you to improve month on month. So as we said, it's about transforming data from just a passive record or a load of numbers into something that you can actively use and help make decisions based on that. We'll hand over to Tom for the last time, who can talk you through some of the most commonly accessed Birdie analytics reports.
Hey guys, I love this part of the platform. I think it's just so powerful, and it just really helps, directors, like a lot of people in this room are, just get straight to what they need to actually do. It allows them to see the path ahead so that they can see their improvement areas and fix them before it ever affects care quality and before an inspector ever catches them as well. So let me just double check. You can see my screen. Yes. Okay. So Jamie was talking about the alignment, how a lot of the reports are actually aligned with all the Chloes. This is so important for you making heads or tails of the data within your own service. So what we can see here, this is the Birdie Q score. Now, this is essentially a remote mock inspection you guys can run every single month. Now, what we can see here, this is the overall quality score. For those of you who have multiple branches, we can even compare them side by side, but you can see over the last 6 months the trend as well. Now, with any of these tiles, we can actually click this and set up a KPI tracker. So this essentially is an email alert. So if ever the quality score drops below 2, which Jamie let us know a second ago, 2 equals good. So if it ever drops below that, we can set up an email report. So I'll get it to send to myself. And then we can add in the time that we want. So when I log in at 9 a.m., that report will be in my inbox, showing me, right, I need to go and fix this. So if we have a scroll down, it actually breaks down into those Chloes. So the first of all, we look at care planning. Now, it even shows you the metrics that we look at to get to these scores as well, which is so important because, you can have a number telling you if you're good or not, but what about understanding what that actually means and where you can improve? And this is why we've built it out. So scrolling further in, we've got call monitoring reports as well. We've also got, caring staff. This is quite one that has quite a large impact. Often managers tell me they spend a lot of time trawling through page by page all of the observations and all of the care notes as well. This is one of those reports that allows you to essentially just look at all of that data with a click of a button. Now, again, it shows us the care quality score as well. And we've even got medication monitoring. Now, in 2023, around 45% of required improvement grades given out by the CQC is all related to medication monitoring and missed medications. So this report here will help you just protect yourself and your business from that possible risk. Now, we've also got the last, Chloe, is essentially responsiveness, alert responsiveness. So look, as the industry digitizes, the CQC are going to be looking much more closely on what you do with those alerts when they do come in. So this is just helping ensure that your team are responsive and all those alerts are resolved when you need them. Now, what we can do with all of these reports, not sure if you noticed, but there's links here that open them up so that we can actually deep dive these reports. So I'll jump into the alert responsiveness. So it shows us here those that are raised and resolved. It shows us the total as well as over the last 6 months, etc. But it also shows us some really kind of quite powerful metrics here. The number of hours to qualify or resolve an alert. It also shows us that trend, but then it also shows us the alerts resolved within 24 hours. So it's not just kind of nice numbers, but it also allows you to diagnose if there are problems with like certain parts of your business that might not be easy to see. We also have a number of other reports. We've actually got over 55 reports. So this, for example, is an assessment report. Now, the CQC, their guidelines is once every 3 months. The outstanding providers we work with, they run assessment reviews much more frequently. And it's a report like this that helps you stay on top of that while your service is growing and changing as well. There's a few other reports I'd love to show you, like this concerns one. So it just, again, helps you keep on top of all of your risks to your business, as well as the risks, to ultimately your care clients. But that's everything we've got time for today. So I'll pass you over again to the wonderful team at Britannia to find out a bit more.
Yeah, so the analytics, if I could describe it in 2 words, would be game changer. We go back to our PIR that everyone gets every year in March last year. I sent a quick email over to Jamie and said, is there any way that I can find all this information in one spot? And within seconds, I had the PIR report. This allowed me, it's set out exactly like CQC, so you've got all of your figure finding ready in one place, allowing me to just focus on success, barriers, and examples of outstanding practice. The Birdie analytics help us with our business continuity. Obviously, when you onboard a client, you assign an overall risk. Being our line of work, sometimes you encounter adverse weather or you do fall into emergencies. So from the analytic reports, you can have download a clear file, which gives you your red, amber, and green service users so that you can operate your traffic light system in those emergencies and prioritize care. We use the Q-score summary a lot for our KPIs. Obviously, it breaks down each area. And as you can see, you might have a dip over 1 month. Drilling down into that summary will then tell you where you need to build it back up. So even for December, we were down to 3 in care planning, and we sort of found out where exactly we were going wrong, and it was a few tasks that hadn't been amended for a long time for some of the people that we support, which is indicating that we're maybe not looking so closely at change of needs. We had a look through all of them service users, and January we're back up to 4. So it's just, again, triggering, because you can't be in 10 places at once as a care manager and oversee everything that people are doing. But having those facilities available means that you can just sort of get those little indicators straight away to get your scoring back up and things you may have missed. With caring staff, we ultimately get a report sent to our human resources team every single week, as Tom was explaining. You can set them up. They look at the staff scoring, and that's built into supervisions with the staff to maintain standards. If we see that someone's dipping, we might offer additional training or, closer supervision. But if carers are doing really well on their scoring, we make recommendations for Care of the Month to keep that incentive going for providing quality notes to demonstrate that the care that they're putting in place. The call monitoring, again, is making sure you're safe and effective, because no one wants any missed calls. You want people to have consistency and continuity, and being able to have that overview is showing you how you're performing, and to make sure that there are no missed calls. And it's, again, all evidence for CQC, not just how you're doing this month, but how you've been doing for the last 6 months, to show your service and the improvements you're making. Again, medication monitoring, they want to know that we're safe, that we're safely looking after people's medications. And by learning and responding to those alerts that are coming into the inbox daily, and making sure you're providing those key tags for, that you've responded and that you have an action and an outcome, you're showing that you are outstanding in your medication monitoring. Again, I would always recommend working really closely with your customer success manager and getting most out of the product, utilising the live chat, because everyone at Birdie is constantly always there to help, and will always have an answer. And, we want to learn the platform as well as these guys be really successful. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Lauren and Stephen. So I'm just gonna quickly wrap us up. If Jamie, you could put up our just conclusion slides in terms of technology for everyone. So whilst we've just spoken about technology, smart tech isn't just about the tools, it's about having an ecosystem of support surrounding your care organization. So if you're using a smart technology provider like Birdie, you'll also often find yourself with a comprehensive support network that extends far beyond the digital platform. So with smart CQC support, you'll often get access to an online community of care providers who can share experiences and on-the-ground CQC advice, a collaborative learning environment with a comprehensive CQC resource library, free training courses, regular industry webinars, insights from sector experts, and dedicated account management. So just some key takeaways. In conclusion, if you use a care app, rostering, care management technology, or analytics tools, a lot of what we've spoken about may resonate with you. And hopefully you'll start to see how smart care technology can really make the difference when it comes to meeting and beating CQC expectations. So here's how Birdie could help you and support you with the CQC in terms of comprehensive CQC compliance support, real-time monitoring and reporting, evidence-based quality improvements, and continuous operational insights and continuous support and resources. So this isn't just vendor support. This is really a partnership dedicated to helping you elevate your care quality, navigate regulatory challenges, and ultimately to transform lives. And we're seeing the future of care is not about technology replacing human connection. It's really about technology empowering that connection, making it deeper, more meaningful, and more impactful than ever before. So now we're going to pass it over to Q&A. I know that Jamie's been busy kind of answering questions async to help us free up some time here. So I'm going to start off with Daniel's question. Applying templates looked really good. He's referring to our rostering. How do we create a template? So I'm going to pass it over to Tom to show.
If I can unmute myself. There we go. Hi guys. Yeah. So yeah, the templating is quite a useful feature. I'll just run you through kind of the basics of it. Essentially, once we've created the visits on the Birdie platform, or the visit schedules, if they are a schedule, that is, then they'll appear in this unallocated section at the top. Now, what we can do is go to the visit. We can click view visit details, and it opens all that info all within one screen. So there's not like multiple logins and, the information on one bit of the software and the rostering on another. Here, if we go to the care team, this is where, yes, this is how we can build the template itself. We can set regular carers for this schedule. So here, what we can see is this visit is already got a regular carer as Tom Austin. Now, it also shows us a few other bits of information about the carer, things like the care continuity. So this shows that Tom's actually had 0 visits in the last 90 days, but Juliana is suggested as a possible referred because she's had 1 visit in the last 90 days. A bit more continuity there. It also highlights the availability as well as any skills matching as well there too. Now, once we've set a regular carer for those visits, we're able to essentially click this button and it makes that allocation for us. Now, there's a few other elements here as well, but we can essentially add the availability of our carers to the care team's members profile within the team tab. So we add kind of, their availability. Also, if they're sick, we can unbook them as well. And that will be unavailable on the system too. Hope that answers your question.
Great. Thank you so much for walking us through that, Tom. I'm going to move on to the next question from Grace in terms of how is Birdie supporting for medication audit, MAR charts for all clients, which is less time consuming. So over to you, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really good question. I think we referenced it a little bit earlier on in the analytics section. So there is a part of Birdie Analytics that is there's a report called the Medication Tasks Log. And what that will do is show you in a given date range, it shows you every single medication observation that we've had. I think Tom's just going to try and find one for us here, which would be great. And the reason I find this report to be so helpful alongside your MAR charts, so it's great to have the MAR charts that you can print out and you can look at on a client by client basis. But I think Grace, what you're asking is I want to have a look across every client that I've got, which is it's true. It's a really valid question. This report is much better for it. So it shows you the scheduled date and time that this medication was set to be administered. And then what it will show you then is the outcome of that and when that outcome was logged. So that's great information to have, but the power in that information comes from being able to filter it. So what you could say is over the last 6 months, for these 10 clients, show me every medication that it had this outcome, which is not administered or partially observed or whatever comes to mind. And then you're going to be able to run that report and show exactly when that's happened. This is common. We've had social services come around and they've asked for a medication history, but only of this specific medication for this specific client. And okay, you can look at a MAR chart and you can stack 6 up and go there. But actually, it's much easier to go 6. Here you can see just under where Tom's put medication not taken. You could filter that to a specific medication name. So we could do 6 months on this medication for this client and just pull the whole history there as a CSV. I mean, the amount of medications available in Birdie's nuts, but you could look at, there you go, citalopram. We could do 6 months, not taken, send that over straight as a CSV. You could email it to them direct, and that's going to save you an awful lot of time. So yeah, if you've got more questions on that, Grace, that would be really good to know. What we could do is set you up a call with your success manager at Birdie, who can take you through a lot of the different audit-minded reports that we've got, and she'd be able to help you out there.
Great. Thank you so much, Jamie. I think there was a question from Daniel as well, but I think someone might reach out to you to help you find that report. Let's see if there's any other questions. We were hearing feedback from clients' family members. Oh, yes, you're welcome, Grace. I think Britannia actually had a comment to that in terms of wanting family members wanting to comment on Birdie. We can respond to this to you and follow up offline, but there are some concerns as it being a conflict of interest as a provider that Britannia has mentioned. So just wanted to put that out there. And then I'm going to quickly cover because we're running low on time. Sarah, do you plan to extend the tags to cover CIW quality statements? I'm going to go back and check on our product team for that because I understand we're mainly focused on CQC. So we will get back to you on that question. I think that is all the time that we have for today. We just had one more final slide just as a thank you. Jamie, if you don't mind pulling up, there's a QR
Yeah,
code
of
that you
course.
can scan there. Yeah, so if you want to find out more information, please visit birdie.care and flock.care just to get connected to that online provider community. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to go on the website. Feel free to book a demo to learn more about just everything that you've seen here today. So thank you again, everyone. Please stay safe and healthy and hope to see you again soon at another webinar. Thank you.